Prison overcrowding.
No one can stop this.
The Mexican mafia.
I'm above the law. The 13-year-old was giving the other co-defendant oral sex, and Tekashi was behind the girl, simulating thrusting and spanking her ass. He pled this case a few years back and he was supposed to behave himself. Now, one of the first things they do to find out if you've got sex offender status, they strap a sensor to your dick and they show you provocative images of adults and underage. And if your dick starts to twitch and get hard to the images of the underage, then they know that your mind is working the wrong way and you're going to get sex offender status for a very long time and supervision. And if the inmates find out he gets that kind of a classification, it could go seriously wrong against him in the Bill Cosby fashion. Now, I've got the plea bargain here that he actually agreed to a couple of years ago. So here's what he said. He wasn't going to do any prison time, provided he did a year of interim probation. He was ordered not to post any sexual, explicit or violent images of women to social media. 2 years of mental health treatment with regular updates to the court on his progress. 300 hours of community service through the New York. He was ordered to obtain his GED, that's the high school diploma for those in England who don't know. And he was ordered to write a letter to the complaining witness and her family articulating why his participation in the sexual video was harmful to her and her family and why publishing the video caused additional harm. So he's claimed that he didn't know that she was 13, and he's also claimed that he was 17 at the time of the offence, but the prosecutor's saying that he was actually 18. And he was also ordered not to commit another crime for 2 years. If he completes all of these by the time of sentencing, he will receive 3 years probation. So basically he was getting a pass. If not, he faces 1 to 3 years in prison. Additionally, if the defendant completes each of the above conditions successfully and commits no new crimes prior to the sentencing date, the people will not oppose a youthful offender adjudication, so he's not going to get tried as an adult, sentenced as an adult. As a result, the defendant will not be required to register as a sex offender. Now, if he'd have buckled down and behaved himself in the last couple of years, he would have walked away from this case. But what's he done? He's got arrested multiple times. His house just got raided by the feds and a gun was found while he's out in Dubai racing around in sports cars. He was found driving on a suspended license, charged for assaulting a cop, choking a teenager, posting on social media encouraging violence and about his association with the 9 Trey Bloods. So he didn't settle down. He's just been on the rampage and now he's exacerbated his own case. So yeah, he's got these lawyers come in and they're trying to get rid of all of these different charges that are alleged against him. So by the time he does get sentenced, it just got postponed to later in October. By the time he does get sentenced, he can say, look, these charges have all been kicked out. I have behaved myself. I'm eligible for probation. I don't get sex offender status. Now, if the charges don't all get kicked out and the prosecutor has a way, he ends up doing some prison time on this beef alone, not just the federal beef for the gun that was found. And if he does get sex offender status, that's going to cause real problems in the prison system. Where I was housed in Arizona State, and this is a New York State case, in New York, Rikers Island, etc. These places are no joke. If anyone's watched the story of Khalif on Netflix, I highly urge you to watch that. Kid with a little backpack, and he's walking along and they said he stole his backpack or something and he didn't do it, so he wouldn't sign a plea bargain and the gangs beat him up. The guards handcuffed him and beat him up on camera. I mean, this kid was so brutalized by the end of it. Well, I'm not going to spoil the plot, what happens. Just watch the story of Khalif on Netflix if you want to get a taste of Rikers Island where 6ix9ine might be ending up. Now, he's claiming association with the 9 Trey Bloods, and the 9 Trey Bloods is a gang that was started out of Rikers Island in 1993. So, if he's got gang affiliation and they're not going to hold him to account for sex offender status, 6ix9ine might do a lot better inside than Bill Cosby. But because of his fame and because of his money, he's basically going to become an ATM for the prisoners. They're going to say, look, we'll give you a pass on the sex offender stuff, but you've got to spread your love around, i.e. give us some money, or else we're going to hold you accountable for the sex offender stuff. Going into prison with rainbow hair, it's not a good idea in general, and a rainbow grill. The only time I ever saw rainbow hair when I was inside was I was at a court appearance with my co-defendants, and my co-defendant, Wild Woman, who was going out with my other co-defendant, Wild Man, Wild Woman showed up with her hair. She'd dyed it every colour of the rainbow somehow. She wouldn't tell us how she did it. And on that day we were facing life sentences, serious drug offender status, and Wild Woman with a rainbow hair and Wild Man were pranking around in the courtroom, and the judge kicked them out of the courtroom for horseplay on a day when we were fighting for our lives. Life sentences, serious drug offender status. Trans prisoners would do that kind of thing, dye their hair, put makeup on, tattoo makeup on, make makeup from commissary items. That's not a style 6ix9ine wants to take with him into the prison system. Now on the other hand, I never saw more tattooed faces on people in my life than I did in the prison system. So if he's going in, I recommend he gets his head shaved, and he'll just then be this bald little dude with loads of tats on his face, and he would fit in much better. When I went into prison, I actually had braces on my teeth, and I had to get a court order from the judge to order the guard to take me to the dentist to get these braces taken off my teeth, because they start to move around if they're not adjusted. So imagine, right, I walk into this dentist office all in shackles and chains, 2 guards packing Glock pistols, and all these people in the reception are like just looking like, whoa, what is going on here? Who is this guy? So he stands a chance if he can beat the sex offender status, if he can get some love from his gang connections that he's claiming, if they're all legit. He probably knows how to work the system and spread money around, because he's got this gangster attitude. You know, he comes from a ghetto mentality. In terms of the racial categories, because in Arizona it was whites, blacks, Mexicans, Mexican Americans. In New York it's a completely different. I think there's a far bigger black prison population and black gang population. But 6ix9ine is half Mexican, his mum's Mexican, and his dad Puerto Rican. His dad was murdered actually in 2009. So then you've got to ask yourself, which racial category does he fit into? And if you have committed a sex offence and you're within a certain racial category, the boss of the gang of that racial category will put the green light down to have you taken out. So that's the person he's going to have to resolve this issue with at the end of the day if he's to survive and thrive in prison. Even if they lock him down, put him away from the general population because of his high profile status, these gang leaders have ways of getting you in lockdown. They'll send people into lockdown who are like torpedoes, and they'll try and pop your door open or get you when you're on the way to the shower, or they'll have trustees working in that area. You know, they've got the mop out there and they're doing the bleach and you're going to the shower, and next thing you're getting beat down with the mop handle. All kinds of ways of getting people. So at the end of the day, if he is to survive in prison, he's got to settle the beef, the sex offender situation, with the head of the gang from his racial category, wherever he's fitting in, or whoever's got the most power in that jail. And most prisoners do end up in Rikers Island if they're New York based. They say they're going to close it down. That place is so big, most of the prisoners go through there getting processed. And again, if you want to see what it's like in there, the brutality, the gang violence, I urge you to watch The Story of Khalif on Netflix. And that's the kind of environment that 6ix9ine is going to be ending up in. Thanks for all the questions on the YouTube channel. I hope this has explained a bit more about what might happen to him in prison. If you've got any more questions, just post them in the comments box. Subs are shooting up now, getting in the high 80,000, should be up over 100,000 by the end of the year. Really appreciate all the support and love from everybody out there on YouTube. Cheers from London.